Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a tune similarity project. We want to feed in some tunes, decide which ones are the most similar, and perhaps make some judgments about how they evolved. We've been working for a while, and we're up to the point of we want to do this thing of quantizing rhythms so we can compare tunes with different rhythms. And to do that, I think we want to get the meter out, which is like the time signature, 3/4 or 4/4. All right, and then the other thing that's been on my mind, I don't think we're going to do anything about it just yet, but I thought I'd show off where I was, is thinking about an improved interface. Right now we just pop up a text box and let you type in the contents of an ABC file, and then we generate a report on that page. I'd like to think about a more flexible kind of tool, and the idea I'm having is something where you've got a palette of stuff on the left, and you can drag and drop it over to the right. Basically, the main column there is going to be some sort of analysis, and you might have like an input section. You might have text input or file input. You might want to be able to transpose things by octave or by key, or I don't know, some other way. You might want to quantize rhythm like we're doing now. You might want to do some different kinds of analysis. We have a Parsons code, but there's also a modal melody we talked about and some DNA style analysis. And my idea is you drag those pieces over from the left to the right and stack them up, and that would be a kind of a filter or a pipeline of changing the tune, making them similar, and then doing some sort of analyses. We're not there. We're not going to be there for a bit, but it's on my mind, so I made a sketch. All right. Let's go to our code. All right, I just ran these tests, so we're green, and that really makes sense because we're starting a new thing. We haven't dealt with meter at all yet, and we just finished at least the first cut of length, which specifies when you write a note like A, B, C, are you talking about 3/4 notes or 3/8 notes or 3/16 notes, or what do you have there? Okay, and we've also started identifying measures. So you have bar lines separating notes or rests, and we now put that in its own structure. I still think there's a design issue we're going to have to deal with, and I think I can structure what we're doing to make that reveal itself. Maybe I should go back and do it for L first. Let's do that. Okay, so right now we handle L in the tune header, but not in the tune body. Oops. Okay. And we definitely don't handle it inline. Okay, let me show you what I mean by those. This. Okay. What there normally is, there's a tune header section, and then once you finish that, there's the main tune body. And the tune header section, these lines like X and T and so on, they're one per line, and they tell us things. We've already done the parts, the A part, the B part, and we did the a basic version of the key. We haven't done everything there. I don't see M for meter. I missed it. Well, it's on this list. Here's unit note length. Notice it does all these topics, so it can be in the file header. We're not dealing with that. Tune header we dealt with, but tune body and inline. And what tune body means is you could have this line in the middle of a tune. And let's go down to the examples. Towards the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So down here, well, the X:1 starts the tune header, K:(G) ends it, and then these are the notes in the tune. This one doesn't have any examples of what I'm talking about. This one does. It starts off with a meter of 9/8, and then after a few lines, it switches to 12/8, and then back to 9/8. Okay, so you have these M lines. They're in the header, but they're also in the body. And then you can also have them inline within a line of notes. So P:(A) says this is the A part, and P:(B), and it's not on its own line. It's in brackets in there. And there's I think there's some ambiguity about those brackets, but we know it starts P colon, so it's not really ambiguous. But we don't handle this case at all yet of something in the line. Okay. And I think when we do, what we're going to find out is we're going to hit a small design dead end. Okay. And the reason is the way we do things now is we have sort of a high level state machine that tells us whether we're in the header, the body, basically are we outside the tune, in the header, looking for titles, in the body of the header, or in the body of the tune. Okay. And line by line, we analyze them. But when you get down in here, these lines are the note lines. We're analyzing those too. But the way we've dealt with, the length so far and the meter we would deal with, it's defined in the header and then it just holds for the whole tune. That's not really the way it works. And for the length in particular, you could go halfway through this line and decide, I'm going to make these eighth notes instead of defaulting to quarter notes. Okay. And it's perfectly legal. But the way we've done it is we've assumed it's set and we just can read these things and understand them. I think the reality is that we can't do that. Part of the issue is the parser we're using is capable of backtracking. And so it doesn't really make sense to do modifying semantics. It wants to be functional. It wants to be dealing with read-only data structures. And if we're saying, do this and then halfway through modify it to that and then modify it back, that doesn't sound like a read-only data structure. It's something we would have to kind of consciously pass through and pass along and manipulate. And I don't know, it's very different than what we're doing anyway. So if we had to change these things partway through a line and change the interpretation, the way we're doing it now is to interpret the note length when we see the note because we know the length or the meter. What we're going to do instead, my first guess, I don't know, the design I have in mind anyway, put it that way, is that we already have to go through the notes afterwards to break up the measures because you can't really judge those. Well, you would have to judge the meter and all that as it changed as well. And I'm not prepared to do that. Okay, here's another one. Switches to 4/4. So I'm not prepared to do that. I think what we do now is probably what has to be done. We capture all the stuff and then at the end we break it up into the measures appropriately. I think we need to do the same thing with the notes and the meters and all these inline things. This is A part. We shouldn't just switch to saying, we're going to accumulate A part stuff. I think we need to do that at the end as well. And basically interpret these as they come. Start accumulating to the A part now. Okay, here's a measure and so on. Okay, so 2 minutes in, my title was messed up. Let's change it. Excuse me I'll catch your questions in a moment. I'm just going to change this back. How about L colon note length in body? Okay, that's what we're working on. All right, let's see. Hey, Viv 1377. So we're doing this for musical notes, so musical notation. Let me run the app. We'll need this file for an example. This is, I think it's 36. I'd have to check, but it's a bunch of versions of a tune called No Scalin', which is really, we know it as Deck the Halls as a Christmas song. Originally kind of a New Year's song. And I can't quite remember if it was maybe originally more of a Halloween kind of New Year's than a big year or New Year's. But at any rate, somebody's put the notes in, the musician I'm working with has put the notes in transcribe these and for a bunch of variations. Okay, so we'll copy this. How long have I been programming? Decades. Long time. No hair left. How about you? Are you starting out or you've been doing it a while? Okay, so we're taking these tunes, B, D, C, B, A, B, G, G. We run this report. Well, this report generates the graphs we want. Yeah, I don't know who that'll be, but probably not me either. But okay, so it's kind of a simplistic graph, but it just gives you the shape of the melody. I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down. It doesn't tell you how far down. So deck the halls with boughs of holly, probably these are the fa la las. These two are very similar. This one looks like a fragment of the other one. That looks pretty similar. This one, it's pretty close too. When they're very close, you can see it. This one's getting a bit different. Another fragment. This one looks like, oh, maybe not. It's going all down. A few that are seem to be going down more than up. But this tune graph gives you some sense of the shape of the tune and how similar they are. I don't know what's a logistical regression. I don't know, but I know one issue we have is they have different numbers of notes in them and stuff like that. So we're going to try and quantize the rhythms so that maybe we get 4 beats per measure or 3 beats per measure or something like that. There's another report people have used that sort of like takes these and says for the first note, what's the most common, kind of show the spread of like what's the most common opening note or opening interval or something like that. But yeah, I would like to do some sort of regression or comparison of these things. My thought was kind of an n by n comparison, to find some measure of similarity. I think maybe, are you going in the same direction at the same moment? And then, get some sort of normalized score, plot that for n by n and some sort of clustering. But I'm definitely not there yet. And I think we'll have to define, like, what does it mean when one's shorter and one's longer and all that stuff. Am I the guy who found in New Zealand? No. No. I don't think I'm that old. Okay. No, just Wake. Some ancestor or nth degree cousin or uncle found Wake Island somewhere along the way. That's the only famous Wake I know of for finding places. I guess there was one who was a Duke of Canterbury or Archbishop of Canterbury at some point, but all right. Let's see. So I'm going to go back here. Let's see. I'm trying to find our parser. We have how are we doing L now? So I think I can look for L. I better look globally. L, it should be text. I know we have one header length parser. Okay. So right now we have this that knows how to parse L colon and then 1/ something. So you can say 8th note or 16th note or something like that. I look 25. Yeah. Yeah, I could wish. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what this thing is. Oh, I think we're just making sure this is power of 2. Yeah, basically. Okay. All right. So we have this header length parser. I don't know that we should call it a header parser, really. I'm gonna change that name, and let's just make it be a length parser. Maybe it's the note length parser. Let's see. What did they call it over here? And the deal with this ABC, it's a sort of a de facto standard. This document's about 112 pages. there's a lot here. There's a lot of variations and stuff like that. But maybe unit note length. Maybe I could say note length. Maybe unit note length is the way to say it. Okay. Let's renew. Rename. Okay, and this is I'm taking off header. Yeah, thanks. I'm taking off header because it does occur in the header the way we are now, but it should be able to occur in the tune body or in the tune. How I got into it, gosh, I don't know. I was just a kid, so a long time ago, but fascinated by how things worked, and kind of the feeling of writing a program that does something and it just does it by itself. Very kind of I don't know, kind of cool in a way to make it something that could work without you. Okay. Let's see. So I think we will start with some tests. Let's see. I don't know the right place to test this though. All right, go back here. I can tell the weekend kind of messed me up. Okay, so I think what we're trying to prove is if you parse something where the length changes partway through, the notes change from there. So we want to find the people who are using this. Okay. Oh, I should change this test too. Oops. Header title. I don't know what to. Oh, header length. Okay, let's rename this. Unit note length parser tests. All right, so these are focused mostly on parsing this line. We got to find the tests that are a little higher level. I think probably in here. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to prove is I can have a length in the unit note length in the body. And this is going to trigger a fair bit of work for us. All right, so I'll just, let's start with the same. I don't care about the header. I don't think we'll need any header stuff, but what I want to do is, let's set a default in the header, 1/8. Okay, so G2 is going to be a quarter note, and let's make a new line. Let's change it to a quarter note, and then do another G2. Okay. Now so the first note, basically that's this, should be, it should be 2/8, which is 1/4. All right. And the second one, that G2 now is 2/4, so it should be a half. Okay. So the way we do things now, it's going to get dealt with up here. Probably the first note will be right and the second one won't. And it's kind of a major problem. Okay, yeah, that's our only failure. 2/8 is not equal to 1/2. So the first one was 2/8 or 1/4, and the second one was also 2/8 because it ignored this. Okay, and let's see. So this is ABC parser, and I haven't kept up. It's tune body. Okay. Oh, if a line starts with P, well, we have a case where a line starts with F. Okay, so we want to do sorry, L. We want to do this, and I'm going to rename this. Okay, we basically want to do this same kind of thing, but I think we're just going to find out, well, it's not going to work. Okay, so anyway, if we're in the tune body and a line starts with the L, we don't want to set the state. Well, I don't think that actually matters. Let's go to it. Unit note length parser. It always returns in. Okay, no, we don't want to set that. Okay, so we're going to ignore that, and that's potentially interesting. Okay, but I'm not going to take what it says. Maybe I shouldn't be letting it decide. It should leave the state as being in tune body. Okay, there's no state change there. Tune state. Okay, tune state is that's where it keeps track of the change in length notes that it made. So that's okay that it knows that. All right, so I think this is sort of the first attempt, and it might work, but I don't think it's going to. I think, well, yeah. Still 2/8. Okay. Yeah. So I think the deal is, this is what I mentioned about the parser and being read only. Oops, sorry. Trying to make a tree. No. Well, it's sort of, yeah. I guess maybe in a way, it's more tree-like than not, I guess. There's definitely levels of hierarchy going on when you look at a piece of music. You have the whole tune, and then within that you have parts, A part, B part. Within that you have kind of these sections where there's repeats and stuff. Within that you might have measures. Within that, notes and rests. And then there are things that cut across measures or cut across sections even. But say you can they call it tie. You can put two notes together across a bar line or two rests or whatever. You can have phrases that cross bar lines and stuff like that. So there's some aspect of hierarchy to it, but there's some stuff that cuts across as well. All right. So, okay, let's understand what's going on here. Tune state. This class basically is tracking what's the current key and what's the current note length. All right. Now, in a way, I'm a little surprised it didn't update. So I think we need to look at our note parsing. Okay, so here we're capturing the bar lines. I want to find the code that, well, that one was probably okay. Oh, let's start with simple. Okay. Making a note. We got a pitch, external octave, and key. We don't have the rhythm here. Okay, let's find where they do the rhythms. Note line parser. Yeah, that's this one. Okay. It catches the duration. All right. So, yeah. So you create the tune state. So you create the tune state object when the parser is initialized. Now, if we touch tune state, that should update that. See, here's where it's using that note length. Okay, so if you don't have a duration, then we use the note length. Okay. Let's find the musical note. Okay, so got a note. There we go. Note parser. Okay, match digits, rest or note. Rest parser or note parser. Okay, where's note parser? I think it's passed in. Okay. So note parser pulls out the musical note. Okay, so when I see a note parser, it's looking for underscore or arrows and or equals, followed by a letter, followed by octave modifier, and a duration. Okay, where's duration coming from? I believe that's passed into. Okay, duration parser. All right, so the parser says you can have digits and maybe a slash and digits, and you're going to make a duration, and all that is derived from self.tunestate.note length. Okay. Wow. Alrighty. I'm still a touch puzzled here. Okay. Where's that test? Here. Okay, so we start with an eighth note. We read one note. We switch it. Now, I would have thought that switching it at a new line would actually switch it. I guess that's why I'm feeling off kilter here. So I'm in the tune body, and I've parsed the L, and I've modified tune state. Let's stop here and see what's going on. Okay, so ABC parser test, and we'll run that. Okay, so let's take a look at tune state. All right, so the current key is G. The note length is an eighth note coming in. We have it in a register as well. Okay, so the note length is an eighth note coming in. If I step over, I think that note length should change. I mean, I think it should be 1/4 now. Okay. And it is. Okay. All right. So that definitely updated the tune state as we'd expect. And then when we read the next note, which is really down here, note line parser. It's not so much the make. I wonder if he's locked in that state. Let's go see what tune state is. It is a class, so it should be appointed to object. Okay. All right, and if we are calling note line parser, rhythm is duration, which in our case is 2. Sorry, we need the note. Rest or note parser. There's a rest. Here's note parser. Okay, so yeah, we're back to note parser. Trying to find the right place to stop and look around. Okay, so we got build note is probably it. Yeah, it's got the rhythm. Okay, so let's stop here. So we'll continue from where we were to here. All right, and now we should see the G2 thing. So let's print note name, accidental, nothing. Okay, so it's in key, octave, and key. Octave 4 is kind of main scale. P tune state. This should be G and quarter notes. Okay. Two fourths. Okay, I mean, that seems legit. G in a key with 2 fourths. That seems really correct to me. Wait, what? Oh, this is the or one. Okay, I don't need to worry about that. I think we're going to back out a long ways. This is all in the library. Note line parser. Okay, we got to the top. Okay. Let's continue to here. Okay, and let's look at the notes. Oops. Okay. All right, so it parsed. It came up with a 2/4, which is a 1/2 note. All right. Let's go out. Well, I'm just going to continue. I mean, this, where did it go wrong? Oh, because I didn't change it to a 1. Ugh. Bad tests get you every time. Okay. It should work because it does. Okay. So we accept L colon changes in the tune body. Okay, now, okay, let's update to do. Okay, so we've done that one. Now, oh, yeah, in the tune body. We don't handle inline. And that's the one I think is going to be work because let's go back to note parser. Yeah, this one is building the note off of the note, the tune state. And if I change the tune state partway through parsing this thing, I mean, most of the time there's no backups, there's nothing to worry about, but it's going to modify the tune state. It's just not good. I don't know. It may mean maybe I should be carrying that tune state forward as part of the actual parsing. Would do it. But if I change it when it happens, I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not as much problem as I'm worried about. Okay, so this one, let's see. In this grammar of this thing, I don't know if it's going to say it up here somewhere, but the inline is in brackets. Yeah, M:9(8). Must be written without intervening spaces, only one field within it. Okay, so at least we can tell that we're in a bracketed section. All right, so let's add that test. Okay, it took me a while to get here for being stupid, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Okay, so now test unit load changes in line. So this one, it's more like this. L1/4 bracket G2. And there could be spaces in front of it. That's pretty irrelevant. Okay. Now, I think the same thing. It starts off as an eighth note, so 2/8 is a quarter, and then switches to a quarter note. This should become a half. All right. This, I think, will fail. I don't know at this point. It'll fail because it won't even parse, I guess. I believe that. Right. Okay. So we can't access note sub 0 because it it just didn't even parse note sub-0. I don't know if we can still see tune. Okay. And does tune... I don't think tunes have errors. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's look at note line parser. Okay. So this thing, the spec for a single note is pretty complicated. But at the bottom line, I think it is we're matching notes or bar lines, and I think we just want to add, I mean, I shouldn't say just, but we want to add a capability to parse inline expressions like this one. So an inline is going to be a bracket, a letter off this list. And it's going to be specific ones. We have to handle them separately. So it could be L colon. Okay. And note length. This, all right. Okay. So if it's not a bar line, well, I think we're going to say what an inline is. Let inline, what will we call these? Fields, yeah. Inline field equals, in this you have to match a bracket. In our case, we don't really care what, let's see, ampersand greater. So followed by our unit note length parser. And is it a parser? No, it has a parser. Okay, we don't have this parser handy. I'm starting to wonder more and more if maintaining that tune header state is the right way to go about this. But this part is the part we care about. L colon spaces match 1 / this / spaces and gives us something. Check rhythm. No, it doesn't affect note tune state. Yeah, this is exactly what I was worried about. Okay, but I think, I mean, we can't be modifying tune state in the middle of a line. I don't think it just doesn't work that way. You can do stuff that's a function of what you have there. That's perfectly fine, but I don't think we can accommodate that. Because what we're saying is like start parsing the rest of the line in a totally, judge its rhythm in a new way with some new tune state. Now, I don't know, maybe there is a way to do it. I mean, this is a semantic routine that gets called, and it has access to tune state. So in principle, my parser could produce like tune state comma rhythm. What's the new tune state and what's the rhythm you get for this? All right, but a unit note length parser, what do we need to start that? Nothing. Okay. Note line parser. Okay. Well, this is something and match. I guess we want to keep the left-hand side match the right bracket. And right, and then I had to put this body in here. Well, let's make one. Okay. Get his parser out and match. Optional bind character rhythm. Oh. He will exist. Okay. Okay, and then I was thinking somebody was going to complain. Oh, we don't call it, so nobody complains. All right. If I call it inline field, okay, I think somebody's going to complain that he doesn't conform to the rest of them. It's a long way of saying, well, this is the biggest downside of these kind of parsers. They give you these horrible things. But what's going on is the notes, let's see, all note parser, or let's look at bar line. That's the easy one. Bar line produces a musical element. Okay. Note produces a musical element. This parser produces a rhythm. Okay. Now, I think what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll turn it into a musical element. But what that means is you can't really interpret your notes correctly at that point. So I don't know. Let's make a new musical element. And I believe that's in here. Oh no, I think we put it in a new file. Musical element. Well, it probably is in here. Element. Okay. So I think what I'm saying is there's a new element that's a unit note length change, and it takes a rhythm. All right, and some other things may complain because of this, but I'm saying we're gonna put this in line with the stuff. Okay. Bar line inline field. Okay, where's inline field? All right, and let's give this thing make a musical element dot unit note length change $0. Okay, so unit length parser produces a rhythm. Cbind means it takes characters as input and produces a rhythm, and we're going to wrap that rhythm into a musical element, and that should make things better here. All right, we still have to work out the consequences of this. Okay, so description, well, case dot note length change. Whoops. Let rhythm. Okay, so how do we want to describe this? I think I'll just do L colon and then the rhythm. Okay, so we'll just list it as that. Do I want to do that? Maybe I want to just say it this way. Unit note length change to rhythm. Okay. I don't want to be replicating the ABC stuff. This is kind of moving into a more domain thing. All right. Now, one more place. Okay. So when you're building a measure and you see one of these, what do you append? What do you do? I think we're going to ignore it for now. This is the measure analysis stuff. Okay, let's just ignore it. See where we get. I guess you got to put it in the brackets, huh? And since we don't care what it is, we're just going to... I think I can do that. No, we can't. I don't think I get to say continue. Maybe I do. Okay. Only allowed inside a loop. And it's in a loop. Can I say break? That was the old way. Okay, still works. All right. All right, this is good enough to, well, it's going to fail. Not what I expected. Okay. Musical element. Inline field. This should produce a musical element. Okay. So we're keeping the right side, which is a rhythm. And then we're piping that to, oh, I probably just need to parenthesize. No. Oh, these things really want lists of stuff. Yeah. All right, and test. Okay. Let's see this thing. Okay, parsed in. Let's run that test again. Okay, unexpected characters found L:1 blah blah blah. Line 5, column 5. All right, and this is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, L:1. So I'm not parsing that right for some reason. L:1 spaces match 1. I don't know. That looks okay to me. You match L, you match colon, match spaces, match 1 slash 8 spaces, and then check rhythm. Make sure it's the right power of 2, and then forms the rhythm object. And I believe that's what we got back. Oh, it was a note line parser. Inline field. Well, okay. So the issue I'm having is like why you would think matching this bracket would be enough to start. Let's make sure our test is written properly. Seeing as I screwed that up already today. L:1 eighth, L:1 fourth. That should be fine. It's in the brackets. I assume it found this. This is where it's really hard to see. Okay, so assuming it found the bracket, and then it matches all that stuff, and then it matches another bracket. That should take us here. Five, column 5. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's simplify this a little, just see if the parser does any better. I just want to run one test. I don't know if I did. Let's just run this one. Okay, so the L colon, the /4 is not a problem. All right, let me just make sure spaces are not a problem. Yes, they are not any more problem than the rest of it. Okay. What's funny to me is it doesn't complain about the brackets, right? So it seems like the bracket is coming through. Okay. Is not triggering a problem. Okay, so this is all, okay, it's no line parser. Let's see if we can trigger something here. 0, return that. So the problem is it just doesn't even like what it's seeing before it even gets to our stuff, I guess. All right, well, we've been going a while. Let's take a break, about 3-minute break, and hopefully that'll clear my head enough to see what's going wrong here. All right, so see you in about 3 minutes. All right, welcome back. Okay, so we're in the middle here trying to allow these bracketed length messages in our parse, like this one. I'm gonna change the parser in here a little bit. Let's see. Where's no? Yeah, I'm gonna make a new one of these. And I'm starting to wish I really could just do a sequence of things rather than match these one at a time. Okay, so if I match this, and let's match, let's just match a 4. Oops. Match character 4. Well, let's make it 7 just to be very different. And match the right bracket. Okay, so I'm trying to reduce this to whatever I can. Okay, so, and let's do our print $0, which should be like bracket 7 bracket, or no, just the 7, and return musical element dot unit note length change, rhythm 1/4. Now let's make it 16 just to make ourselves very aware. Okay, that's fine. And then we call inline field 2. Okay, and so we're matching a 7. Let's modify our test. And this is just bracket 7 like that. Okay, so just see if we can put some bracketed thing in here and have it do something with it. Okay, and we're going to return a 16th note, which 16th rhythm. So we will get a musical element back, we should see a 7 printed. Okay, and let's run this again. Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, I guess I'm understanding it's a parser error. I don't see anything printed that looks like a 7. Tunes.errors. Found 7. Okay, I'm just going to put a totally bizarre character in and see what happens. They use so many characters, it's hard to find one that's not used. I don't remember. Oh no, grace notes are ats. Well, can I put some sort of emoji? We know these are weird. I want to make sure I can recognize it when it comes up. Symbols. Okay. Yeah, I guess a heart would. I don't know, a heart on fire is probably more like our situation here. Okay. So I'm saying if you just see a heart on fire, you should match it. Oops. This one test. Ah, there's a heart on fire. Okay. Okay, so what's going on? Let's, oops, does anybody else look for brackets? Bar line. Oh, bar lines can be brackets. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is one of those cases of ambiguity. All right, let's go find out what bar lines really say. Symbol line, breaking line, inline fields. For bar. Repeat in bar symbols. Okay. Yeah, so bar lines, they use brackets to represent bar lines. Notice they're not even necessarily matching or anything. Thick, thin bar line need not be followed by one of these to make the brackets match. Notation colon is short for this. Okay. A dotted bar line. Okay. Or an invisible bar line. Okay. Well, I think I see the ambiguity then, at least. In the note parser, bar line here is this. So if he matches that, he's definitely a bar line. Right. So what happens is the bar line gets consumed and that. So I think if I change the order, I might be able to change my life. Okay, let's take this out here. Let's try the more specific thing first, which is this. Okay. Now this, I think this should be okay here then. All right. So we haven't got a bracket back in there, so there's no conflict yet. Okay. So the errors should be empty. Found G2. I don't think that's an issue. I hope. Let's make this thing a little more sophisticated. Let's make a match. And match the heart on fire. And change our test to both. And you know that G2, that does make me feel like I can't see the difference between those two G2s. Let's change it to 3. And I think we're expecting 3/4. Okay, let's try this again. I'm still expecting the heart to print out. I'm still expecting there must be some spacing error that I'm not straightening out, but maybe not. Doing this in the other order might be helpful. No. Okay. So it is the space G3 that's the problem. Why? I feel like I'm fighting my parser awfully hard here. Okay. So all notes parser, this. Okay, so I'm guessing. Wait, if I take this space out, I think maybe this might be better. Good. Okay. So now it's a different problem. All right, it's that this thing doesn't match the spaces following it. So I'm going to finish the bracket thing. Okay, so now I should have a bracket in here, and so my test should have one here. All right, I think this will still do okay. As far as errors. Right, and let's just continue. I don't know what the, let's see what the failure is. 1/8 is not equal to 3/8. 3/4. I'm just going to check this. I'm a little worried. We're not seeing the elements we should be here. Okay, continue this. Okay. Failure, but it didn't print. Oh, unit note length change 1/16. Okay. Right. Okay, this. We're now producing something different than we were. And I don't know if I'm tunes to elements of 2 dot I'm saying that should be a musical element dot unit note change rhythm 1/4. Okay. And now this note 2 should be the 3/4. This is 1. Two failures. Okay, woohoo. Unit note length change 1/16. Oh, yeah. I need to make this more real. Okay, so note parser, we just hard coded a 16th. Let's put this back. I don't think we need this one anymore. And we'll use inline field. And that should have the real one. Oops, that should be alcohol 1/4. Okay, we're printing out the note, what we found in the parser, which is good, but okay. Found G2. Oh, I got the space thing again. Okay, let's try one more. Sorry, it's not usually this painful. Okay. This one I think is it's still going to fail because it still thinks it's eighth notes because we just put an event in, we didn't change anything. Okay. That's kind of the point, I think. Excuse me. All right. I think the real thing is it's going to be 3/8 for now because we're the way we're applying it. Oh boy. But if I multiply 3/8 by 1/4, it's not going to be right. Really, I have to do 1/4 divided by 1/8 is 2 and multiply it by that. 3/8 becomes Now divided by that. Yeah, 3/8 becomes 3/4. So it becomes 6/8, which is 3/4, I should say. Um, okay, I got two problems going on. One is I still don't know why the spaces are an issue there. Let's make sure this works the same if I delete this space, just for grins. Okay. Yeah, so the parsing is not affected there. But if I do it here, I think we get a failure, a parse failure, showing up as a blow up. Yeah. Okay. So I wanna set this aside for a minute. Oh boy, this is more complicated than I really want to deal with. Okay, so I want to make sure I can put spaces after that. I don't know why that's not allowed here. Let's see. So our note parser, which is what we're doing at the end, it says match spaces. Well, no, I do know what's going on. It only lets them be. It only lets ignored spaces come after notes, and this is. I guess the problem I have is I thought I tried pulling this out. Let's see. So let's take that. If you take that and match the spaces, so I'm saying anything can be followed by this, then he's not happy. Flat map is deprecated. Like, why is that deprecated now? Because $0's got a different type. Musical element. I don't know if I can see it here. Oh no, parser, no. Let's take this. Okay, so I'm saying one or more parsers. These all have arrays. Okay, if I take this out, why is it better? Well, it's not totally happy, is it? Why not? Oh, value is coming in. Flat map $0. Value should be array of musical element. Oh, but it's a parser. What the heck? Okay, I'm going to put this back. Okay, put this back. Everybody should be okay except that one test. Yeah. Who else? Allow bar lines. Huh? Oh, golly. All right. Where's noteline parser? This should not make a difference, right? This should find the notes, should find an A. Okay, let's... Okay, I think... Let's see what we've changed. I almost don't mind the test changing, but this... Let me put that aside for a minute. I'm going to revert this file. See what else I did there. Inline field bar line. Okay. This. I'm okay with that. All right, let's see what we got. Note parser. Note line parser. Okay, so inline field is what I added. How are we now? Nobody's referencing it, so it should be okay. All right, what are you? No, let's ignore that for a minute. Okay, so I've reverted all that stuff we did and put back the piece I think is kind of okay. All right, so an inline field I think should be legal here. Inline field. Okay. Or bar line. Now, this should still pass. But does not. Okay, that's interesting. Bar line, bar line. Well, I understand why he gets an error there. All right, let's just run this one and where can we see what's going on? Oh, I haven't allowed backtracking. That's the problem. Node parser. I have to look up even how to do that, but there is a difference. or else. Yeah, double bars for backtracking. Okay, so I want to allow backtracking in that situation. All right, so if you try and match an inline field and you get the bracket, but you don't get the next bar line thing. Okay, I think this should solve that. Oops. Oh. Two failures. Okay. I want to deal with this parse tune. I don't know if that's what's failing. Okay, so let's make the one change type thing. Here's note parser. Note parser. Okay, so if I take out, oops, note line parser. If I take out inline field, oh, I only have one bar there. Okay, let's try that again. I think we're looking good so far. Yes. Okay. So what would I say I've done? I've allowed inline fields, and I'm doing backtracking if they fail. I don't even think I need this one. I think it's. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay. It's this case is the one that's problematic because of that ambiguity. I see a bracket and it looks like a perfectly good bar line to it. But if it's a bracket followed by a letter, followed by a colon, followed by a quarter note or whatever notes, it should be treated as a bracketed expression. Okay, now let's go back to the, well, I almost just want to let that be. But it does this sort of, so that's problematic. Okay, so this may even be passing at this point. What's the problem here? No scheme contains every test you try to run. Well, he should be in shared tests. Okay. Creates. Oh. Yeah. This is kind of what we expect at this point. Well, this is why I talk about a design dead end, that we hit something. This. Okay, so the problem here is it starts off at an eighth and it parses these as an eighth. This one just puts a musical element in there, but it doesn't change the parsing at that point. I think and I actually think the way it's working now is probably the way it should work as far as this test is concerned. I don't know. Maybe they need to be defaulted to 1/1, and like whatever that is, this is twice as big, and so on. Okay. Now I want to solve the other problem first. So if I say ignore, I should be green, but I'm accepting some amount of bracketing in there that's not really acceptable. Okay. In effect, the brackets are ignored at this point, and that's what they are kind of now anyway. I think I'm gonna check in. Start allowing L colon inline. Okay, and allow backtracking to handle as bar line. Okay, I think that's okay-ish. What I really want to do is straighten out this spacing thing, and let's see what we can do there. Oops, little one's home and not happy. All right. This parens look redundant to me. Let's make sure everybody's still passing. Okay, so remove unneeded parentheses. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that, okay, I think I can write this test. I don't think I handle bar lines with spaces after them correctly then, which I thought I tested. Note line parser tests. Well, it would be in here. Okay, so let's find bracket space. Not one in here. Okay, where was that? AFFGA in a test. Yeah, we did have that. Bar lines may have spaces. Okay. Why? That test is, it's really testing. It's because our spaces are allowed in front of notes. It's not really spaces allowed after bar lines. So I think this is the test. All right. I don't think this will pass. Why is that passing? Make sure it's not an issue of two spaces. Okay. All right. I think, well, the fact that I don't know why that passes probably. Because it probably ignores the bar line. No. I don't know. I'm not isolating something right. All right. So if you look for notes, you will accept a space. Zero or more spaces. You ignore them, and you only take one or more repetitions of notes followed by spaces. Okay, where's the parenthesis? Okay, I want to move this parenthesis here. Okay. Okay, so I have notes followed by spaces. That seems clear. Or I have an inline field which has no spaces here. Or I have bar line which also has no spaces, I believe. Oh no, bar line explicitly does. Okay. Let's move this to all notes parser then. Okay, I'm going to move this piece up here. Saying all notes parser takes all the stuff and ends with spaces. Ignored optional spaces. Now here, I don't need these parens. Okay. Oh, still running. All right, good. Move space. Now, I don't know why I have to do that. Okay. Let's put the test in for brackets followed by spaces. Okay, so I would like that to be accepted. Well, I'm getting into the... Okay, can I go back up? Parse tune knew the errors. Oh, I have no errors because I wouldn't get this far if I did. All right. Is that true? Measure part A. No measures. Okay, well that's why that blows up. Because I don't handle this thing for real. But I guess I'm saying these two things should coordinate. And the spaces should be okay. I don't know. I'm gonna break in parse tune. Break here again. I thought I would have a syntax error at this point. And if I did, why are things continuing on? I don't remember seeing that 1/4 last time. Oh, yes, there's an error. Okay. Let's fix that aspect first. Wait, why is this not... Let's step over. Errors has something. Why is that not failing? Oh, it did. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say this thing can be followed by optional spaces. Spaces. Is that what we did up here? Well, I did this. Okay. That should not get the syntax error anymore. It won't work. Okay. It's still not going to do what it should, right? Because we're not working on this, but that fixes the spaces problem. Okay, so I'm gonna let's say can parse unit inline with ending spaces. And I'm going to make the test about the parsing and not that. Okay. So that fails if parse tune fails. Okay. And I believe parse tune will fail on that if I take this code back out. Take this line back out. That test will fail. Okay, and that is the one failure. Yes. Okay. And if we go to parse tune, we can see it. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. We will ignore it. Okay, it fails. Now I put this line back in and it passes, I hope. Okay. Make unit length changes, allow trailing spaces. Okay, now, oh boy, I got to switch over this thing at some point here, but let's make sure this is okay. All right, this is the part that doesn't work. Okay. I think I want to refactor this parser slightly. All right. Now, I think, okay, I can say, I'm going to make a little helper. Spaces equals this thing. All right, and who else uses spaces? Okay, that should run the same. Well, what do I know? Okay, apparently not. Stop that. Reverse that. And revert. Make sure we're green again. Okay. What I'm feeling is these three end the same. Like why do I have to say this up here? Okay, so I'm going to do this. I guess I'm doing this experiment. I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to take it out of our field parser here, and our all notes parser here. Okay, since we're matching exactly one of those things, this, I should be able to say this and spaces. And nobody should be upset by that. Okay, I don't know why I've tried to do that before and messed up something, but pull out spaces from individual parsers of notes, elements, or rests. Okay. I think I'm putting off the hard thing, which is it's not so much this, it's more the actual processing here. I think what I need to do is change the way notes parse their timings. And I think what I want to do is track the tune state but not use it on the notes. And I think they should just say whatever they want to be. So they default to 1. They could be 2, 3, 4. They could be 1/2, 1/4, whatever. I think they're relative to, let's say they're relative to a whole note for starters. And then at the end, we need to multiply by the note length changes. Um, and it's just such a big change. I don't want to do it. Okay, let's try and make this formatting a little nicer. Okay. This test will fail. All right, but I think what I want to do oh, this is unit note length. In the tune header, yeah, I think this is. I think I'm going to change that to 2, rhythm 2, comma 1. I don't think it should be the note length stuff job to parse. I think it's too early to tell what these are. These note markers, the rhythm duration markers. I think we need to do it at the end, just like we're doing measures. I think when we accumulate the notes, we should be accumulating the measures, adjusting the durations. So we want to get the base timing, like in this case, 2 whole notes. But when we create the tune, I think that's when that should be done. But the one thing that should be done is in the tune header, we want to check the tune state, that gets adjusted. I don't know if that's... See, tune state... let's see if a tune knows its tune state. I don't even know if that's true. Well, it does not really. Okay. I really do want to change the way these work. I would like to say this is really 2 comma 1 because this is a 2. And these two should just be 2s. I almost think this should become an event just in the stream, just like the other one. And even the original one, I almost could see putting that in the stream. But I definitely could see putting this one in the stream and saying, like, we're not interpreting it yet. We're just capturing these rhythms. Now, I don't know, where parse note probably. These note parser tests. Some of them probably test rhythms. Maybe not. Well, here you go. Okay. Right. 32/8. It defaulted off a hard-coded thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it should. So I got a bunch of changes to make in an uncoordinated... So I'm saying these are all wrong. I'm saying a note by itself should just be a whole note. His rhythm should be 1/1. And 32 should be 32 comma 1. And then 3/2 should be 3 comma 2. And so on. A single slash is the same as /2 and all that. But I'm worried. I mean, when I do that, it's going to kind of break the world. But I think that's what I've got to do at this point. I'm changing an assumption about when does the note incorporate the length. And now this thing is sort of relying on it implicitly doing it, and I don't think that's right. So I think this should be 32 over 1. 3/2 should be 3 over 2. Well, these get pretty simple that way, don't they? 1 over 2, 1 over 4, and 1 over 8. Each slash is a divide by 2. Okay, and that's saying I'm going to take the duration of the note standalone for what it is. All right, and this test should fail now because it's different than it was. My only question is, where do I also check these note durations? There's going to be a few, but not necessarily a ton. We haven't dealt with triplets. Slashes should have the same calculation. 2, 8, 1/2, 1/24 is not even legitimate. Let's make this 64th. Okay, and these tests, of course, will also all fail. Right, and then these other tests that I just wrote, they're going to fail. But, well, okay, I was worried about dozens of tests, and it's not. All right, restoration. Where's that test we just did, though? This one. I don't know. Oh, it's ignored. Okay. I think this test should pass. This should be 1. 2. 2 once and 3 once. Okay. And what they're saying is whatever the current scheme is, the current unit note length, I'm not tracking that. I'm just tracking my own stuff. All right. This should be 3 tests failing. One, 2, 3. Okay. I can live with this. Now, the tests that test whole songs, they're going to blow up at some point, but we'll manage. Okay, note line parser. Who's applying the duration? Well, this. Yeah, so rest parser, duration. I think his note length should just not default to the tune note length. What's this even? Rest parser, one of this and a duration. Okay, and duration parser, where'd that thing go? Okay. He takes into account tune note length. I don't think he should. Right. I think we can take these off. So right now it multiplies the default note length by whatever it finds. That should not be multiplied anymore. Duration. Okay, so we're taking out the references to note length. Okay. I'll take out this one too. Okay. So I probably agonized longer than I've taken to solve this. Some of these should pass. Okay, some of these will not. I think, yeah, I think the ones I just changed are passing. Now these, unit note length right after title, yeah. If this should be a two note. If we're ignoring the length. Okay, same thing here is, it's just a two. Here, this should be a two. G2 is a two. And G2 here is a two. Let's make this one a three again. Just to guarantee we're not getting the wrong one. Okay. In reality, this should become 2/8 and this should become 3/4, but we're not checking that here. And this one, 2 and 3. Okay, I already changed that one. All right. I think... Okay, now... So, okay. Make note durations be captured as based off whole notes rather than looking at unit note length L colon field. Well, that's okay as far as it goes. Let's see, something was funny here. This one doesn't worry about, no, he does worry about durations. Does he worry about tune state now? Note, okay, something is not consistent. I don't know if this means I'm missing a test. Okay, so if I build a note, it's got no accidentals and it's got no rhythm specified. Like I should never be going to this, so this should be defaulting to 1-1. But it's not. So that means some bit of code is relying. Well, if I just change it, right? Rhythm 1-1. Like, does anybody care? They sure do. Okay. I wonder about the key too, because we're gonna have the same problem there. But note length we definitely should not be consulting tune state at this point. Okay, so let's take this one. Test body information fields matched and ignored. Why would that fail? ABCBA is not equal to ABCBA. Quarter notes, whole notes versus eighth notes. Okay. So there is code dependent on that. That's the good news. I was worried there was none. But that good news is not super good. Let's see this comparison. expected notes. I guess the deal is these things should have rhythms. Okay, so whoops. This test should fail now. Well, that wasn't the failure I expected. Note. Oh, this should go inside. Okay. Try that again. I expect it to fail the way I want it to fail. All right. His notes should be complaining that they're not one notes. Okay. They're all eighth notes. All right. Now this parser. Now if I do this, I expect this test to pass, but there's going to be a bunch of others that have trouble. Okay. That tells us. Okay, this is more like 50 tests failing. All right. Now, we have to make sure it's the same problem every time. Check tune parsing. Oh, let's run them all. Some of them will be okay because check tune parsing is used. Yeah, okay. This one should be ABCBA. Okay. Let's default note differently. Rhythm defaults to 1/8. Let's default this to 1/1. I think that's really what we should be doing. Okay, how many failures? 1. Well, that's progress. Bar line captured. A4, 1/8. Oh, should be A1, 1/1, not 1/8. Okay. All right, now this thing, note parser, that does not need tune state dot tune state dot current key. Yes, and current key is going to have to be dealt with the same way. We haven't finished this by any situation yet. Okay, and rhythm is coming in optional. Okay, if you don't know it, it's just a whole note. That makes sense to me. Okay. I did not expect that to go as well as it did. The whole thing, actually. Okay, we've resolved that in like 20 minutes here. The real thing going on, though, is nobody's looking at these note durations anymore. And that's... the tests don't mind, but that's not what's really going on. Let's see. These L-colon ones, they're not testing what I want to test. All right, the problem is I'm looking at the elements, and the elements are calculated before we analyze the bar lines and stuff like that. My proposal is we should be calculating those adjusted note values after that gets processed, and we are not checking that here. We're really not checking anything about L colon here other than it parses. What should be true at this point well, somewhere that tune state should be reflected. I don't know if we capture that. Let's take find tunes. This one, parse state. Well, tune state starts out and it gets adjusted. Let's find tune state. Right, it gets owned by this, I think. Tune state, that defaults. Well, I almost think this should be 1, 1. Let's see who cares about that. Oh, that's correct. That should default to 1, 1. Okay, anything else? Okay. All right, so let's see this thing. Well, let's look for L colon again. Don't care about it in there. I guess I care about it in quotes. And I'm sure. No. Why aren't you finding it in the tests? Oh, it's not quoted in the tests. Okay. I believe it was ABC parser tests. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we've accomplished something. Okay. We sort of have done this, but we haven't applied the L's now. Let's see. Apply L colon when we calculate measures. All right, we've removed some functionality, and it's only the fact that we're not doing much with it that lets us get by with that. We added this ability to say the unit note lengths, and we parse it, store it in tune state, but we are not reflecting it in the notes, and that's, I believe, correct for what we were doing. We need to go back to this, like at the very bottom here somewhere. Well, who calls this, right? Find callers. Okay, the parsons code report. Well, he doesn't care. I think I'm ignoring something here. Intune body, parser. I know we do some normalization, and I've forgotten where that is. Oh, when we calculate the bar lines, where do we do that? Hopefully if I orient us a little next time, I'll be there. Okay, we're just testing format there. Score test, that's probably more like it. And let's find score. It's like I just don't know where things... Head count, measure, current rhythm. Okay, yes, somebody calculates measures. Tune somewhere. Okay, tune, identify measures. Who calls this? Tune tests. Okay. Yeah. This is kind of the point where we will have dealt with that. Okay, so we need tests for this. Make sure existing L colon tests check after that calculation. Okay, so I think what we've done is we've taken our L colons from something that partly worked to something that doesn't work at all other than being parsed. So we parse the L colons, but all we do is capture events about them without actually applying those events. And so these tests of the measures, they're looking at the notes, but they're not looking at the rhythms, and the rhythms are not going to be correct according to the note length stuff. Okay. And we will have to see why. Let me make sure this test is running. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's definitely too much to do in 3 minutes. So let's stop here. Tomorrow, it will be at the same time tomorrow. Well, the default time is 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. U.S. is on Standard Time now, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. I think I have to cut out half an hour or so early tomorrow, but it'll start at the same time and go for at least an hour, hour and a half. Yeah, I mean, an hour and a half, maybe what we get. I think I have a 2 o'clock appointment my time. All right. Thanks for joining me today. It was a bit painful, I think, looking at where we got. But I do think we've unraveled the assumptions that meter will be calculated as we go. The durations of notes will be calculated as we go. That is definitely not possible the way we're working now anyway. So we've unraveled that part of it. We haven't kind of re-raveled it to a new way of doing it. And I think calculating measures is really the right place. And really identify measures is kind of one aspect of it. It really is kind of like finalize the song or something once you have all the information you need. I think we also probably need to look at should tune header L in tune header or top level body become an event. Okay, and that's a plausible thing to be too. All right, thanks again for joining. Hope you have a good evening, and I'll catch you in the future, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.